the Virtual Antics podcast. I am so excited because today we have a special guest. I have Zehra with us, who is a law of attraction expert, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear her story. Thank you so much, Zehra, for coming on.
I'm so excited. Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, me as well. So tell me a little bit about you and, how you got started as a law of attraction expert. That's so cool.
Oh, no, I didn't start as an expert.
Oh, of course, right?
No. I actually screwed it up, made lots of mistakes, cost me a lot of stuff before I learned my lesson. So today you see me where I am. I'm the author of 16 books on the subject of law of attraction. I've created a business. I've created financial freedom, not just for myself, but for my future generations. But it wasn't always like that. There was a time when I just couldn't even imagine how I had created this problem, or how I landed in this situation where I was like 5 days away from going bankrupt. And I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I The thoughts in my head were just like, oh my God, what has happened and how did I allow it to get so bad? Why did I allow it to get so bad? And now that I am here, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I dig myself out of this? And I remember saying to myself, I'll do whatever it takes. Like, I am just taking my foot off the brakes. Nothing is off the table. I am going to do whatever it takes to save myself and my family. My children were very young, and I was relatively new in Canada, and I had no support system here because I was a new immigrant. My husband, we had just broken up and he had left the country, so he was no longer here in Canada. So it was like, I don't know who to turn to. I don't want to turn to my parents. Like, they've done enough. They're in this stage of their life where it would be so unfair for me to, ask them for help. And I felt so ashamed, embarrassed, insulted even, to just even think about going to the few friends I had in Canada and saying to them, can you lend me money? And I have no idea when I'll be able to give it back. But I had to eat a humble pie, and I had to stick my neck out there. And I am so grateful that when I asked, people supported me. Because had anyone turned around and said, what the hell are you doing? That would have completely demolished me. People came to my rescue, and I started, when I let go that anxiety, and I said, whatever happens, now this has happened, I have to accept it. Then ideas started coming in that helped me to stabilize things, and I never went bankrupt. In fact, in 6 months, I turned things around. I paid off a ton of debt. I settled my score with the taxman, and I was saving money. And I attribute it completely to the work that I did using law of attraction. It was the misunderstanding of law of attraction that put me in that situation. Mm-hmm. And it was the proper understanding of law of attraction that allowed me to come out of that situation. And that's when I became passionate about teaching other people what they were doing wrong, because it's a very powerful tool. And when you use a powerful tool and you don't know how to use it properly, that's when accidents happen, right? I mean, isn't that what we say? If you don't use the tool, if you have a powerful saw, let's say you have one of those, what are they called? Chainsaws.
Yeah.
When you have a powerful chainsaw and you don't know how to use it properly, that's when you can chop off your limb or your finger or something bigger. And so that's the thing. A lot of people are using law of attraction because they gravitate towards it because it seems like I'm going to use this and then my entire life is going to become better. And yes, it will, provided you know exactly what to do with it.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people who did not have success right out the gate using law of attraction. In fact, things went downwards. I made those mistakes. Then I learned from them. And that's when I started doing better.
That is amazing. You know, we experienced that ourselves as well. I had two preemies 12 months apart. Both of them had medical issues in the beginning. And I remember we had a Home Depot credit card that we would go and purchase a Walmart gift card at Home Depot with so we could buy formula for our children. And it was just like we just kept getting more and more into debt. And then we were having financial issues. And it wasn't until we someone randomly gave us $500, which I was like in shock. They're like, they were religious and they were like, hey, God's just speaking on me to just give you this.
Yeah.
And we did not touch that money. We put it aside because I felt so guilty for even taking it. And we put it aside, and we all of a sudden, all these amazing things kept going to us. It was like knowing that security was there.
Yes.
And that all these like amazing gifts were coming
Fully.
to us,
Yeah.
and like jobs, and our business grew, and it was absolutely amazing. And it was just so cool to see like how powerful it is.
It is powerful. Yeah. And that's wonderful. And both my children are preemies as well.
Oh, okay. How big were they?
In fact, I think they were big babies. Maybe
Oh.
that's why they were preemies. But my daughter was born 5 pounds.
Wow.
So, like tiny,
Yeah.
but not so tiny that she couldn't make it through.
Yeah.
And my son was just a little bit bigger than her when he was born. So he got, I think he got 2 more weeks in the womb more than she did. So he was 5.5
Yeah.
pounds or something like that. Yeah. And then I know the journey. I am so
Oh, wow.
familiar with the journey.
Mine were
Uh,
only 2 and 3 pounds. And so,
oh,
yeah. Then we had surgeries, and we had jaundice, we had all the things, right?
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it just felt like that was the point, and that's probably one of the hardest years in our marriage too, because it just felt like all these things were coming at us, negative and things like that, and we were just like,
yeah,
what's going to happen next? But I feel like when you get in
yes,
that mindset of, well, what next bad is going to happen to
exactly.
me? Bad stuff
That's
is going to
exactly.
happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, because you're fear-based, right? When you're in that phase, you become fear-based in the sense that you're looking for the shoe to drop, like what can possibly go wrong now? It's going to, you start thinking.
Yeah. And me and my
Uh,
husband have this thing where we're always like, it all ends up all right. And it actually usually is for the best. Like, even if we can't see why this stuff is happening to us right now, there's always a reason.
Always. Yes,
Always.
yes,
And it's just so
always.
cool to see. Like I know we spoke a little bit earlier, but my vehicle, the transmission blew, right? And most people, and I still owed money on that vehicle. So most people be like, oh man, what are you gonna do? No one's gonna take that car, because if you go to a dealership, they don't like to take cars that don't have working
Mhm.
transmissions. And I was calm throughout the whole thing, because I'm like, you know what? It is going to be
It's
okay.
going to work out. Yeah,
And sure enough, it took a month, but
yeah.
it came, and I got my new car today. So I was very, very, very excited that, it did all work out. And we found a place that actually took my vehicle that the transmission was blue. And who knew? So
Yeah.
I think it's just really powerful that it also brings that sense of calmness, when you're
Yes,
like,
exactly.
yeah, that sense of peace. Is
Exactly.
that what you feel?
Oh my goodness, that sense of peace is, yeah, it's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah.
And I was not like that before.
Yeah. I think I
I
didn't
was a
really get
warrior.
there until I was like in my 30s. I think my 20s, I was always like, because you're just trying to figure out how to survive on your own in your 20s,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So you're like, well, what do I do next? And what about this? How do I
Yeah.
make this all work? But there's
Yeah.
something beautiful about your 30s and even 40s is like, you're like, man, I got through so much in my 20s. I'm fine now, It's just like, I can handle anything if I got through my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Beautiful story.
Oh, thank you. So what are some of the things like that you use when it comes to law of attraction?
The main tool, there are really only two tools,
Okay.
and all other tools are modifications of these two tools. And those two tools are appreciation
Mm-hmm.
and meditation.
Mm.
Everything is a combination or a modification of these two. Whether you're doing affirmations or visualization or doing a vision board or doing anything else, journaling or whatever, they are just a combination of these two. And so the appreciation plays a bigger part than meditation.
Yeah.
But they are two very different tools. So the first difference between the two is meditation is about absence of thought to feel better, and
Mhm.
appreciation is about using thought to feel better. The
Ah,
objective is the same. The objective is to feel better.
yeah.
And so that's all law of attraction is about, is find ways to feel better, because when you feel better, good things happen.
That is
That's it in a
amazing.
nutshell.
Yeah, and it's so crazy how like even though it can be complex, it's like just the simplicity of it is like it's really these two things. And if you're focusing
Yes,
on those,
yes,
you're gonna attract that, right? So
yes.
I think that so what are some ways that you use appreciation? So do you like say to yourself, oh, I appreciate this, or what's kind of like your guide?
Well, the thing about appreciation and the way most people do it is not the way I teach it. So let me explain. Most people say make a list of 5, 10 things that you appreciate.
Mhm.
That's just touching the surface of it, because appreciation is not about the words that you use. Because here's the thing I want you to know, I want our listeners to know, is that the universe is not responding to your words. The universe does not hear your words. The universe hears your vibration. And so, unless you are attaching an emotion to the words that you offer, they are not going to help.
Mhm.
So, when you appreciate something, you don't have to find 5 different things to appreciate. Just take one thing and then milk it, go deep on it. Go deep. You don't have to go wide and find lots of things to appreciate. Just take one thing, but stay there long enough that you actually feel love and appreciation,
Mhm.
because it's the feeling that the universe responds to.
That's so true, and I think we don't often like we're just following a to-do list in life, right? You
Exactly.
have to do
That's,
this and you
yeah,
have to do this, and we're
yeah,
not
yeah.
really feeling it, right? And we're
Well,
not being in the present
exactly,
moment.
exactly. So that's how people generally approach doing the work, is that, oh, it's a to-do list and I just need to write it down and then I'm done. No, that's, and that's where people get disillusioned. And then you hear people say, well, law of attraction doesn't work, or it's a fake, or whatever. And they're saying that because um, they haven't learned the whole thing. They've got a piece of the information, they don't have all of it. And so if you go deep in your appreciation, you can sit and appreciate a tree for 15 or 20 minutes and just appreciate the tree, but then feel that in here, and it will change things, because now you're feeling a shift inside you, and that shift that you feel inside you is what changes the world outside of you.
That's amazing. And that's super, very, very powerful. Now, I know that you wrote 16 books. Were those books all around the law of attraction?
Yes.
So, my question is, how do you write about one topic in 16 books? Like, how do they differentiate?
Well, so law of attraction applies to all our subjects in our lives, right? So all the books are written for different reasons.
Oh,
Um, and they are also like a documentary of my own personal growth with law of attraction,
okay.
right? But there are different aspects of law of attraction. For example, the book Thrive is about understanding the connection between quantum physics and energy. So it takes you from not knowing anything about energy or science, and it kind of bridges you into understanding of the field of all possibilities and how you scientifically, energetically bring things into your life. The book Unlimited is a workbook. So it takes you just teaches you, an example is what we just did with appreciation, where it teaches you meditation, appreciation, visualization, and it goes deep into those techniques and how to use it properly, right? Then Peace Within is a book about meditation, how to practice meditation based on law of attraction. The book Is This Apple from My Tree is about parenting. So you see, every book, the book 51, what's it called? 51 Questions About Life is a workbook about self-worth. So each book addresses an area and they don't overlap. One of the books is called Prosperity Puzzle. It's about abundance. So each book has its own little area. You cannot take law of attraction and write one book on it because it's so vast.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what the books are all about. They're all little snippets about a specific thing that you might be working on.
Yeah, that's why I asked you about like what each book was about, because I just talking about it, people might like think, oh, law of attraction, so appreciation, meditation, that's it.
Yeah.
No, there's so much more that goes
There's so much more.
and you can
Yes.
apply it in a million different ways to your life, right?
Exactly. Yes, 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 absolutely.
That is amazing. So where can everyone find you and get your workbooks and your books and everything?
Well, all my books and workbooks are on Amazon, so it's pretty easy to go to Amazon and just look for my name and you can find me. My handle across all social media is Z Mahoon. So my first initial and my last name. That's my website, that's my Instagram, that's my YouTube, that's my Facebook. So you can find me all across. And yeah, my website is zemahoon.com and it has a lot of resources on it and it has a lot of information about law of attraction. And people are most welcome to get in touch with me through my website.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I'll make sure I put those links in the show notes as well. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.